Is Fernando Mendoza actually the worst Heisman ever? I saw a lot of people circulating this take after this last season, and Fernando is too nice of a guy to defend himself, so I'm here today to defend him. First off, a lot of the buzz for this started immediately after Fernando won the Heisman Trophy, with people looking at his stats and just saying that's not good enough. And what was stupid about that is Fernando still had multiple games to play. We hadn't even seen the season end yet. He ends up winning the national title and just being masterful in those CFP games. A lot of the people who conjured up this narrative were just watching box scores of Fernando Mendoza, and if they would have continued to do so in the CFP, I think they would have eventually been converted. He had more touchdowns than incompletions through the first two games, just ridiculous stuff. Another reason this narrative was created is because of some of the insane seasons that some of the recent Heisman Trophy winners had. We have Travis Hunter, who's a one-of-a-kind two-way player. Jaden Daniels was ridiculous. Williams and Young were both considered to be generational prospects. Devonta Smith had one of the greatest receiver seasons of all time. Joe Burrow's considered one of the GOATs of college football. Kyler Murray was an electric playmaker. Before him, it was Baker Mayfield, another guy that's considered an all-time college football player. But the reality is this, there is a lot of context that needs to be had with a lot of these things. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, they all put up crazy numbers, but they all also had terrible defenses, so they were on the field constantly and playing in a lot of close games. Travis Hunter was arguably not the best at either position that he ended up winning the award for playing. Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield, I mean, those are crazy exceptions. Those are some of the greatest players of all time. Nobody's saying that about Fernando Mendoza. And that's just it. There's context to any situation. The reason that people think Cam Newton is the greatest college football player of all time is because of the context of who he was playing with and what he accomplished. I think if you actually factor in the context of what Fernando Mendoza accomplished at Indiana, the context of who he's playing with, the context of his team being so dominant that he just wasn't playing in the second half or fourth quarter very often to get those stat padding stats, I think you factor that all in, he's actually a pretty incredible Heisman Trophy winner. And the last thing I'll say is one of the main complaints I hear about these awards is people calling it a stats award, getting upset that stats and box score watching get prioritized over actually giving the best player the award. The complaints were there for Jeremiah Smith, and so I ask you, where are those complaints then when Fernando Mendoza steps into the room? If you don't want it to be a stats award, context should matter, and in this case, I think Fernando Mendoza was not only the easy choice for the Heisman this season, but he's a very great Heisman Trophy winner that is definitely not in the conversation for the worst of all time. In fact, he's nowhere close to that conversation.